Hola, I'm Elias Torres, co-founder and CTO of Drift. You're listening to the American Dream podcast. On this show, we talk to leaders who have achieved their own version of the American dream. But we also focus on the work that needs to be done to create a more consistent and diverse face of corporate America. That's why I'm setting aside time to talk to leaders of nonprofit organizations, the people leading the charge to build a brighter future for the next generation. Bienvenidos a todos to the American Dream podcast. I'm here with Rocío. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. And we're celebrating by highlighting a nonprofit organization that set out to empower Latinas to be innovators and leaders in tech. So Latinas in Tech was founded by Rocío van Nierop in 2014 in Silicon Valley and has since expanded across the globe by working alongside top technology companies like LinkedIn, Visa, Slack. The organization provides Latinas with the resources, opportunity, and community they need to earn a seat at the tech table. Love this table. Today, Rocío joins me on the show to talk more about the mission, the work that has been done, and the work that still needs to be done to empower Latinas in tech. So, Rocío, welcome to the show. Bienvenida.
Thank you, Elias, and thank you for having us.
Tell us about this amazing organization that is much, much needed, especially in tech, right? Tell us a little bit. 20,000 people, 20,000 women?
Yeah, so far it's just, well, that was like 2 months ago. That right now we might be we are a little above 22,000. So we grow very fast. Latinos in Tech started with just a few Latinas in Tech. Me, one of them, we actually started with two, getting together for coffee. And I was working in tech, and, in 2012 or 14, it's very common that in big tech, you're the only Latina or even the only woman at the table. We started mainly as mid or senior level Latinas working in different large tech companies, Google, Netflix, Evernote, Prezi. And we were mainly focusing on, accelerate our growth and highlight opportunities, open up doors for each other. It was more that than complaining or even noticing that there was challenges that we were facing. So we were just focusing on growth, and I think that took a lot of traction. So we from 4 we went to 100 within like 2 months and thousands within like 3 months or 4. And it's been just skyrocketing from there. And I think part of our success is that lack of focus on the why nots and mainly on the yes, we can.
Absolutely. Love that. Love that. There's a stat here I have from you that 50% of your membership has worked over 5 years, right?
Right. But, so the median is between 6 and 7 years. That's the more common. Mm-hmm.
And what is so that's great, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But where do they sit with that amount of experience at the companies that they're working with? Where do they?
56% are at entry level. So what is entry level? Typically, what the normal person would be working on right after college in the first 4 years of or maybe 3 years of your professional life in tech. So after that, you start growing, right? But then if you look at the years of experience, it is actually the median is between 6 and 9 years. 25% of women have between 6 and 9, but then still 19% have between 10 and 14, and only 20% of them all are less than 10 years. So hold that thought. So if they are super experienced, they are 56% at entry level, but yet 90% of them have bachelor's degree or above. So we're talking about extremely highly qualified women that just get stuck while everybody else is growing. So This is where we're obsessing. Like, why are they not growing? And I think the answer is, obviously, the system is not working for us, but also we are not working with the system. So there's a game that Latinas need to play into so that they can, benefit from that growth.
Yeah. And I'll be blunt, right? I'm a founder. I've started companies. I'm an executive at companies. And I'll say this, that it's a personal struggle, right? But just hear me out. Help me verbalize this. people that are starting earlier in their careers, right? They're like, I've worked in career for 25 years, and it's like people want to accomplish everything in a short amount of time, right? I'm talking about a wide spectrum. And so it's like, that's something I struggle with, because I always tell people, like, I've been focused on gaining experience, achieving results, and things have worked out for me, right? But I can't do it quite like as systematic or as timely as other people would like it to be. And so I give that kind of advice. Yet I feel like, especially in tech, it's just such a fast movement of titles and progression in a short amount of time. And I see people that have been 6-7 years working, and they're vice presidents of companies, right?
Exactly.
So like, I'm just being honest and transparent. I don't think that VP experience, you can achieve it in 6 and 7 years. But
no, for sure.
But if it's happening for others, why is it not happening for Latinas? Like, I wanted to, if it wanted to be fair, right? If it's happening for others, like,
I mean, just single out California, single out Silicon Valley. And if you look at all the decision-making positions, say director and above, what is the percentage of Latinos or just alone Latinas up there? Vice presidents, C-level board members, like, they are virtually not there.
Yeah.
So we are working to change that. The whole problem goes back to years and years and years of much complex and greater problem, right? Like, who had a good education 30 years ago? The whites or the black and brown? Who went to Ivy League colleges? Yeah. From those Ivy League colleges, who founded companies? Who brought in their bodies? How do they look like? You hire people that look like you, but because simply your bodies look like you. So that, like, they were not like, ooh, I only want to found a company of white people. No, nobody has ill intent. It's just so our world works that way, and we need to change that. And it took years for it to be like that. How soon can we change it? So if we call that the system, we're not going to change the system tomorrow. It's just not going to work for us. We need to change the way we can control it. And as a group, we could potentially move the system. So let me give you a clear example. You're a CEO, you're a founder, your mind and behavior works differently than the employees. But I'm going to give you a story. I was with recruiters from top tech companies, say Netflix, Facebook, Google. Yeah. And I had like 100 Latinas listening and asking questions in that panel. And the question to them was, if you could put percentages, what percentage of the time do you award raises to people that ask versus people that perform and you offer it, like you volunteer it? So the consensus was that 90% of increases and promotions were asked. Okay, so that doesn't work that way for the Latino market, but also if you split men and women in the Latino segment, it also works very differently, because overall women and men are very different. So they are the minority within the minority. So I turned to the Latinas, and they are about 100. Yes, for math, let's make it 100. Raise your hand if you have asked for a raise or a promotion in the last 12 months, given that you have been working there for 12 months and you have accomplished or exceeded your goals. Raise your hand if you've done it. Do you know how many people raise their hand? Call it 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So, okay. So just that. I just asked them, okay, tomorrow, everybody that didn't raise their hand that could have, go and ask for a raise. Why? Yeah. Because if you're accomplishing and exceeding your goals, you've been there for 12 months, they're not volunteering it for you. Go and ask. They know you already have. So they're not going to fire you for that unless you're really underperforming or you were hired yesterday, right? So there are so many things that Latinas and Latinos can do to own that growth before they expect the system to change for them, if that makes sense.
I love this. I love how you broke it down, and you know, as a business owner, right? It's like, I think I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back. I think we are very systematic in, like, we're looking every every cycle of raises, we're like, okay, who hasn't? What's the age of every person that hasn't gotten a raise? What's the last amount? When they were last touched? Their performance. And I have pushed my team, especially in the product organization, to be like, I want movement. I want consistency. I can't have somebody 4 years hasn't said anything about. So we're like proactive, yet never can do enough, right? Because people want 100% of them want to raise.
Yes.
And so I'll tell you, that's the business side of it. However, you nailed it, though. I think that even though I would say we volunteer raises without people asking us, there's nothing wrong with asking.
No.
Because of the stat, there is absolutely nothing wrong.
No.
And it puts you in the priority, and it makes you need to get a pulse of how well you're performing. Because if you think, sometimes people think they're performing, but they're not. And so that forces the question, getting synchronized with your manager, right? And be like, so that's such a very powerful thing of like, and I can think of exercises to be checking on your membership all the time. Have you asked for a raise this year?
Exactly. And having managers encourage that behavior.
Right. And how do you have manager, and how do you for Latinos especially, and then I think, so you can say, and what's the process too? Because you don't want to wait till the last minute to go ask.
Exactly.
You want to be systematically asking about your performance. And
that's what companies need to be proactive on teaching, right? But that's why we're just tackling the problem head on. So if you don't feel confident, we'll train you on feeling confident. We train you negotiating your salary. We teach you how. So that's why we exist. And salary negotiation is just one little thing. There's so many things we can control. So I would say at Latinos in Tech, 70% of what we do is really focused on the Latinas because they can do so many things. But then, yes, the system, as you say, what you have done, what many others have done, like inherently, all the companies are good. They don't really try to screw us up. So they many are by trial and error, and then there's always, the bigger you get, legal implications and politics, so many things, right? So we try to work with the system and with our employee resource groups and see how we can influence the system to change as fast as we can. Now, there will be a percentage that they're not willing to change and that we cannot change with the Latinas.
Yeah.
So for that, we work with lawmakers and we try to introduce legislation that will help us cover for a part of what we cannot cover. There will always be a part that nobody can cover, right? So that's a little bit of what we do. Right now we're 15 people. Actually, today, as of yesterday, 17 people. We just welcomed two new Latinas to the team. But that's how we do it. And we're in 20 cities, 6 countries right now. We have around 100 volunteers running them.
Yeah, I mean, I was having a meeting with the member of our Latino ERG at Drift, and this young man was like frustrated, right? Because he's like, why don't we have more people across all the management layers and Latinos and stuff like that? And it should be at this percentage. And like, I think like you were saying, I can't fix that in 1 year. It's like, this is a systematic problem. And so what I was saying, and tell me what you can do, what you're doing with companies of like, we got to go focus. Let's say that executive is going from level 5 to level 6, right? Or level 4 to level 5.
You're not going to jump them.
No, let's go find all the level 4s that we have that can be level 5s, not level 4, 5, 6, and 7 or 8. Let's go make sure that all those people are in good standing. They're working. They're talking to their managers. So
they need a little bit of a push.
Keep pushing a little bit, right?
Yeah. So I have read, I read an article from Harvard Business Review, and, other communities are like, why are you creating these programs only for them? Like, let's be equal. And it is a complicated thought because historically they have been underrepresented. They have been underdeserving. So if you had 3 children and one is handicapped, you're going to do a little bit more effort to have him level up, right?
Yeah.
So this is the same thing. They have historically struggled. So companies are like, it should be okay to help them a little more, to give them a little bit of a push, right? Like if you open like, okay, ask for a raise, you have to push the Latinas, do ask for that raise. You have to do a little different. And then when companies are like, yeah, we need more level, well, what is it in your top level, 5, level 6 or 1? I'm not sure, but top level, senior level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You want to bring in senior level Latinas.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's not you, let's say it's Google, right? Because you're a Latino leader, that's great. But say you're another organization that doesn't have Latinos at the top and only has Latinos at the bottom. What do? Okay, one option is, okay, I'll hire a senior Latino to come into a higher position. You're not helping the bottom. And so it's good that you're bringing in somebody else. Great. We need those mentors. This is really important. There's nobody tomorrow, put somebody. But do make sure the bottom grows up.
Yeah. It's about the funnel having the ability to flow.
Exactly. Right? Like, why are they not growing? What is broken in your system? So you want that entry-level people that have been there for 7 years to be managers, and some of them to be directors. And maybe in 5 years, they will be the decision makers, and they will bring you more people. They will bring you more senior people. And yes, you can partner with Latinas in tech. You don't need to really partner, but you can hire from our pool of people because there's qualified people. And you can always, this is a trick in tech that you must know very well. You're 2 years in one, you jump to another one and you're higher. And that's how people become vice president, right? That's super common. Like, jumping from company to company, you accelerate your growth. So if that's the case, then instead of offering a VP level to somebody, use that, because there is talent outside, and still an awesome manager or an awesome director Latino from somewhere else. That is a great way to bring in talented Latinos, and they will bring you more people. But don't forget your own.
Exactly. No, it's I know it is like, oh, I'm going to hire an executive. And that means we just musical chairs, just the top people that took 10, 15, 20 years, as opposed to like, what is the system, right?
Yeah. And the system is always like, yeah, but we want them with experience doing this. We want a director that has proven to be a director doing the same thing somewhere else. Then you're just in the same system.
Yeah. And how many times have I been in an emergency where I have an executive leave, and I put someone in that director job because, you know what, this is the closest person to it. So here's your opportunity to prove yourself. And I would do that. Why are we not doing that for Latinos? Because what I want to get to the next step here, right? What is this broken problem in the funnel?
Yeah. It's a matter of trust. Everybody, because
why are not the Latinos moving up in the funnel?
So first, you need somebody to trust. Because they lack trust in themselves, culturally. Like, they're not going to be like, put me in there now. You as a manager, you do need to open doors for them, men or women. I'm going to give you an example. I hired 2 executives at Latinas in Tech, and we had to restructure. They had to go. I could bring in 2 more senior people to the team, but instead I promoted their direct reports. And oh my God, they're doing amazing. Now I created 2 senior people that didn't exist before, that now somebody else can hire, and they have the experience. So we can play musical chairs by moving people around the same level, or you can lift people from level to level. So that is the best way as executives can help create more senior people. Just promote them, because it is like, I don't know. I look back at the people, like I had a colleague when I started at Prezi. I started she's been there for like 6 years. She's still in the same position. While in the same time, I moved 5 times up in the ladder. So the company's not going to come and say, hey, you want to be promoted? Like, you have to voice things. You have to ask, like, start owning projects because then you get promoted. Like, if you see somebody else, quit or be fired, jump into their project, own them, shine. And then, but always make sure you get promoted. Don't do free work.
I love this. This is so so powerful because everyone else is doing it, right? And like, you know, if a company wants to, it's okay for the company to say no to a promotion. It's okay for a company to say not yet.
They have the reasons.
They have the reason, as long as it's being done fairly, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that if it's only whites have the confidence or only males have the confidence to make the ask, what we need to make sure is like it's the people that are not able to make the ask doesn't mean that they're unqualified for doing the job.
Yeah, totally. Right? I had a direct report that I love. I hired her back in 2009, and I've carried her with me in every job I have. Like I move, I hire her, and then she was with me at the last company. She was there for like say 5 years, and at some point I'm like, and by I got promoted. I moved into corporate. She was still in international market, but she was loving it. And I'm like, you're promotion material. You have to ask. Like, please. Like I was more acting as her mentor. Like, please ask because then they will give it to you. And she refused. Like she actively said, I can't do it. It's not in me. I'm not that person. I'm sorry. I'm not like you. And I'm like, oh my God, if she just, because I cannot ask on her behalf, I can recommend her, but you can she has to ask for, and maybe she doesn't want to be promoted, but she needs to be paid fairly. She needs to be paid more.
My personal, I like a little bit of a balance, right? I wouldn't want to recommend Latinas to go and be that person that every 3 months is like, give me a raise. I mean, I don't.
It's
that's
annoying.
Not it's annoying.
I agree.
You want those people, and then we would get a bad rep.
Totally. But maybe once a year or once every 2 years. But if you've been in the company for 3 years and you've never asked for a promotion, they've never given it to you, not even an inflation increase, dude, you have stock.
Exactly. And you're like, you've been there 5 years. You got to be a first-time manager. It's like, and I guess the other advice, one of my stories was that I was at IBM and I was working for this Latina VP. She was a mentor of mine, and she wanted me, as people were leaving, she wanted to give me the management job, go from engineer to manager. And I had this bad idea in my mind that management was bad, like meaning like I want to be an inventor, an engineer, a creator, and there was dual ladder at IBM, and I said no to the management position.
Yeah, people's manager, HR kind of thing.
People manager, HR, like that's just bullshit. And I'm like, so I want to do this, and so she hired a woman to be my co-manager type of thing. So this woman be a manager, and I was the technical lead. And guess what? Nobody listened to me or did anything I asked them to do.
Oh, really?
Because she was the manager.
Oh, she was good.
No, but she was the one who would do the raises and the promotions because she did.
Yeah, that's true. But one other thing that Latinas suffer from, different to Latinos, is that sometimes they talk and it goes, phew. But if a man talks, it's assertive. If a woman talks passionately, she's being emotional. Right. You know, we do get mansplained all the time. So there's not every woman has that great experience. I did have a great experience because I talk a lot. Right. Because I have an A personality. But not everybody has that.
Right. She wasn't Latina, the woman, but people would be like, Leah, she wanted to do something else. And so what I was saying, it didn't matter because they were like, the one who does my races.
Yeah. So, and there are ways to grow.
Right. But what I learned that day was like, it's very hard to be a good manager.
It is very hard. Yeah.
But
not everything is raises and money for being a leader.
No, but we have to encourage Latinas to go seek management positions because that's the standard ladder to go.
Totally. A management position brings in more Latinas.
Exactly.
So a Latina tends to leave her job, say 50, like halfway what they could have stayed. They leave the tech industry. They leave that company. Why? Because the house is not ready for them. Not always. It's a boys' club. You're alone. There's no ERG group. There's not many resources. And then microaggressions are never are not openly, talk, like maybe each person throws in, or they don't even know they're throwing in as a microaggression, but the person affected gets like mosquito bites all over. So it can get tiring if they internalize them all the time. So imagine your house, your company is a house, and you're going to throw in a party, and I'm this popular girl that has a lot of friends. Should I invite all my friends to your house if your house is dirty and the ceiling has holes? I'm not. Because if they come, they will leave immediately. They don't like it. You have to clean your house first. You have to do a good job catering for your guests. So that is what we are passionate about. So Google, don't come to me trying to hire my girls. Like, ensure you're going to keep them. You're going to cater for them. They are different. Right now, our group is different. It has a little bit different needs so that they can thrive. It is that challenged child you need to push a little harder. So demonstrate to me that you're a good fit so that you can marry my family. Right?
I love the. I think that I would say it excites me, the organization, and I love it's back to the other thing that you said, that I hate it when people complain. I hate complainers. I don't want them in the world. People, there's some complainers in back home, but to be like, oh, you're not inclusive, it's like how is it an argument still that there's underrepresented people, and that if you are making it your work,
are over policing that,
you're doing the job of helping a group of people, that means that you're doing bad because you're not helping everybody. Like, you're dedicating your time full time to a nonprofit organization. Why are there these people got to go mind their own business?
Yes. So my advice there, because it can happen, like women in general, if there's a woman policing, like, oh, you just mansplain me, and blah, it stops the shining. Everybody's there to shine, and shine is work, being successful, do a good job. That's shining. And if I'm going to stand up every single time I feel there's an aggression, I'm never going to shine. And I'm not going to let you guys shine. You know who should do this? Allies. And not with every single thing. An ally can notice something like, hey, did you just mansplain her? Let her talk. That resonates more than her stopping her argument and stopping the shining process. It is the job of the ally to detect those things and let the girl shine, or let the challenged child shine, because it is not their job. They're already suffering by the microaggression, if there's any. If the ally didn't catch it, maybe it's also, so minor that it should not prevent you from shining.
There's so much to do, right? And I get both overwhelmed, and I also have, as an entrepreneur, an ability to, you know what? I don't care about every problem in the world. I'm just going to care about the one that I'm trying to help with, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, as long as I'm doing something, I can't fix them all. But like in your stuff, there's just so much to do. But I feel like the power comes where the money is. It's so to get women promoted into the places, I would be maniacal about that. That way, like you said, when you make a Latina manager, you get more Latinas, right? And so, like, that's something I did when I joined HubSpot. The product organization had like 2 women total, right? It took a huge amount of effort. I learned so much because I didn't know any of this stuff. Like at that time, like I would get enough trust, but the women in my team, I had to have them interview all the time, right? Because I only had 2. And so, like, every time I had a woman, and then they would come and tell me, the women in my team would be like, that candidate is worried of how this organization looks.
Yeah, and they're also, you just said, you just explained a big problem. The 2 women were tiring of being in all the interviews. Exactly. So sometimes we have to, like, that now they had that other job. Like, say, a Latina. Now, if you're the only Latina, you're in every picture as a diversity.
Yeah.
If you're the Latina, now you need to translate for somebody else something they cannot read. Like there are things, and then if you're the Latina, you should be the leader of the ERG of minorities. Like there are, like, we have to absorb it all because we're only 1 or 2. But if you had more, it wouldn't be just me.
Exactly. But it took a lot of effort to move up the numbers and understand why they were not taking the jobs and why they were not interested in second rounds and things like that, right?
And always remember, as a leader of an organization, because of this historical problem of a pipeline, right? There were not that many Latinos studying in good universities. There's a lot of talent, don't get me wrong. But historically, it has been challenging. So companies give a chance to people that are missing just a bit, because you can train them in that bit. Don't ask for 10 years experience, you're peeling off, or 20 years experience for a manager position, you're peeling off the crowd that you need. But it's so amazing. Like, I've seen the results. Train your own people. They will work way better than if they come with tons of years of experience from a competitor. It's not going to work out. Like, I'm not saying it's not going to work out. Sorry, I take it back. But it's also going to work out if you give them a chance. And we need to give them chances.
We got to do the right thing. But I'm a little pessimist, and I feel like I can't expect the allies and the whites to solve all this for us. Like, it's so that I'm more of a little of a revolutionary, right? And saying, like, I want you to go and say, keep pushing women to get the promotions, track them, network them, and say, and boycott to a certain extent, and say, like, you know what, we're not going to go to that company.
Yeah.
And we go make this other company better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can't. It's just forget about it. You can't be doing that. And I would say, I don't know, am I anti-union? I'm anti-union, but I feel like this has to be a type of union,
Well, the ARGs are in a way a type of union.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm going to give you an example. Contingent workers. All the workers that are not employees, anything that is not in your payroll, that's a contingent worker, right? They are under contract, they're part-time, they work for somebody else, you name it. They typically have less benefits. So many problems with them. You cannot give them raises, you cannot promise, stability, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So some companies come to us to post their jobs. They have 1,000 open jobs. Why would you come and post a contingent worker positions in mine? Let's boycott that. I'm sorry, but my 20,000 Latinas, they don't do that. Yeah. They deserve full-time jobs with full-time benefits. They at least deserve to have all the information so that they can decide.
No, I love this. And we got to keep being unapologetic, right? Anybody complains, I'm helping. I'm now grateful, blessed that I'm helping with a scholarship that I got to college at USF. And I said to them a few years back, I only wanted to be for Latinas in CS, right? Oof, that was my requirement, because it's like, I care about Latinos, but like you said, right? It's just that's the segment that is the even smaller segment that is doing that stuff. So my mind is like, I want to go where there's the most, and if we can push those people to come and fit into the rest of the tech world. Like, how do we get them be worthy of a hire?
No, you're absolutely right. I'm going to put California again as an example. So in California, we're like somewhere between 40 and 50% of the population Latinos. Yeah. Yet we have the largest tech industry, right, in Silicon Valley, even LA. But 1% of the technology industry workers are Latinos. 1%. Well, now it's more like 2%. So it's growing a little bit, or it changes how you measure it. And we spoke about how different it is at decision-making positions, but they're there. But when you look at buyers of technology or entertainment, they have the same problem. Like, who goes to the movies? Who buys apps? The money they are getting from the Latino community is huge, but yet they don't employ us. And we are the citizens. So you're based in a place where half of the population where you are Latinos, but you don't hire them. You much rather bring in people from other countries, from like Asia or mostly white people. Yeah. And it is true, as you say.
Rocío, let's not complain. Let's focus on the shiny. I love that.
Yeah. But I want to go to something. Yeah. There is, in fact, a pipeline problem. If you look at the number of people that are graduating from computing science, how many people are Latinos? go back, go to high school. From all the schools I was researching, how many people study concentrations in STEM? And from those, what percentage are Latinos? So from our homes, we're not going into STEM. So there's a cultural, like, let's talk about our culture, Latinos and the Jewish community or the Indian community. Before they eat anything, they covered education. You fly super high. And in the Latino community, we fail where we say, when we see, okay, the first money we get a better TV. So the American dream is broken. People come here, they work in the fields with the hope that their kids will do better, but then you still see kids of field workers still working in the fields, and they're legal American citizens, but they are yet not going to these computer science careers where they should be going. They could, but they just, like, if you talk to a high school principal of only Latinos, what do you want to be when you grow up? A hairdresser like my mom. Cool, you want to be like your mom. But we can aspire because they think they cannot accomplish. Something is broken. Therefore, our pipeline is still broken. We need to fix it so that they can actually hire that qualified people they think. So yes, I do complain that we're not there, but I don't only complain about the companies. I complain about the system, and I complain about us fixing it because there's a lot more to grab.
Right. No, I just was gonna say, like, flip to shine in the area. Yeah, no, but I love what you said, though. It's shocking me to my core, right? I mean, I think it's the same thing that you're trying to do with Latinas to get a promotion. You cannot. I think the principle is the same. You cannot be for 6 years doing the same job.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be for generations doing the same job.
Exactly. And we need to move.
Unless you're an owner, like if your family owns the farm, then continue owning the farm.
Fine. Or if that's what makes you happy.
That's fine.
And create wealth for your people. And if we succeed in the short term or in the long term, we will move from being consumers of technology to be makers of technology. And that is what we need to do.
That's it. That's simple. I mean, I think that this is extremely powerful, what you just said, and it's simple, right? You're just like, we need to get Latinas promoted. We need to Latinas move up management, but it's really about breaking the cycle, right?
Yeah, and owning it.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are afraid to dream big because they think they will fail. But it's the same as the race. If you don't ask for it, you don't get it. So status quo doesn't change.
Yeah.
So what? If you don't aim high and go high, what? You're just going to go back where you are?
But yeah. And I've talked about this in other episodes, right? It's really, I think I was talking with Adrian Mendoza, I was saying, like, you know, if you're white and you went to Stanford and you went to Harvard, you have the confidence to ask people, you go to LPs and you say, give me $100 million. But if you're Latina, you're like, oh, I'm only going to raise $1 million or $5 million or $10 million. But you go ask, and then they're still going to be told, maybe 100 people are still going to say no to them, but one is going to say yes, right?
Yeah. Lose the fear of being rejected.
Yep.
Like, what's wrong with Latinas going to Stanford and Harvard? What's wrong with Latinos going there? Did they apply?
Yeah.
Like, a clear one is that one Latino that I saw in Harvard. I was like, how did you get in it? Well, I applied.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I went to Harvard because some people at IBM told me, you don't know anything about computer science. You need to go back to school. So I applied and I got rejected. Wow. No surprise. So I get rejected. But you know what I did? I because I was living in Boston, I walked in. Imagine me, like, Harvard is distributed all over the place, over the city, Alston, Brighton, whatever, Cambridge. Mm-hmm. I find the CS school and I walk into this Pierce Hall and I'm like, where's the registration office for the CS school? Tell me why I got rejected.
Yeah.
And then I tracked down. I stayed there the whole afternoon, sitting in some pew at the office. And then they said, well, it looks like the notes say that you don't have enough experience because you didn't do undergrad CS. And I'm like, okay, how do we fix that? They're like, and so somebody said, take some classes at the extension school. And guess what? I took extension school classes.
And then you got in.
And then I applied again, and I went and asked the professor, give me a recommendation. And then I applied again. So it's like, if I failed, but you tried. And
I think things play well to people that don't take no for an answer.
That's the other lesson. Yeah.
That when people ask me what defines your growth, well, because I'm freaking terca. I'm terca, and that I think that's the case for many.
Latinos are tercos, so I think we just got to use that to our advantage. Our strengths are our weaknesses. Our weaknesses are our strengths. So
and I think that a good conclusion from it is, because we're Latinos or because whatever, plan A might not always work, but hell, you have a plan B and a plan C under your sleeve.
Yeah. Or I mean, I think both sayings. Not to get pedantic, but I've learned from white people that I know a guy that sold a company for $3 billion, right? And it was a crazy thing. I mean, this guy was burning $50 million a month. And what his lesson was, Elias, there is no plan B. His motto was no plan B. This has to. And so you can also apply the
opposite
to the opposite. Right? It's like, forget about plan B, plan C. This, it just takes many tries, but plan A, it's going to work. Like, you got to get
But then you try it. It's a freaking fear of failure that prevents a lot of people from moving. And that's also another thing I see culturally. People in Latin America, it should be avoided at all costs. Whereas in Silicon Valley, it's like, well, it's actually applauded.
Yeah, it's applauded. I mean,
even by investors.
Just raised another, $1 billion, another company after we work. You know what I mean? And everybody's.
I heard that. That's incredible.
Like, everybody's upset, right? But it's like, people go like, financially it makes sense. Why not back the person that has failed before and like has connections,
Yeah.
Right? And so we just need to get into that game. We just need to get into the loop. Thank you for what you're doing.
Absolutely.
You're shining, you're helping. I'm so proud to have interviewed you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the American Dream Podcast. Make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss when a new episode drops. If you like this episode, please leave a 6-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you're interested in learning more about my American Dream mission, subscribe to my newsletter linked in the show notes.